Good morning, class, or good afternoon, or good evening. I'm not sure what time of day it is that you're watching this, but this is my attempt to do a flipped classroom. We're going to be looking at Chapter 3, which is titled Cultural Conformity and Adaptation. There are three sections in this chapter. Section 1 is the American Value System, Section 2 is Social Change, and Section 3 is Social Change. With each section, there are objectives. Section 1 has two objectives. By the time we finish this section, you should be able to identify the basic values that form the foundation of American culture, and you should also be able to describe the new values that have developed in the United States since the 1970s. There are what we refer to as the basic traditional American values. There are 8 of them, and they are as follows. You have personal achievement, individualism, work, morality, and humanitarianism, efficiency and practicality, progress and material comfort, equality and democracy, and lastly, freedom. Now I'm going to go over each of these a little bit more in depth so that you'll hopefully have a clearer and better understanding. The first one is going to be the personal achievement. And personal achievement is built primarily by people that value individual achievement, as in the area of employment. One can say that the harder you work, the better job you have, the more money you make, the more fulfilled you feel with this personal achievement. The success that you have makes you feel like you've achieved something, a better status that you have within society. Individualism, basically that success is going to come to you as an individual through the hard work that you do and the initiative that you take. And so you're not reliant on anybody else. It's more or less your success is going to come because of what you've done through your hard work. Work, Americans view as discipline, dedication, and hard work are all signs of virtue, and that by being dedicated to the job, by being disciplined, and doing hard work, that personal achievement, that sense of individualism that you have is all sign of a virtue, and it's all through hard work that you'll have gained your personal achievement and your individualism. Morality and humanitarianism. Americans place a high value on morality and tend to view the world in terms of right and wrong, and at the same time we're quick to help the unfortunate. There is no fuzzy gray area. It's either right or it's wrong, and we will right the wrongs that we see in the world, and we'll do our best to take care of that. For example, we just recently had this ongoing battle between the Palestinians and Israelis, and we actually sent our Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton, in to help broker the peace treaty. We've also involved ourselves in other parts of the world where you look at the war in Afghanistan and Iraq, and the Arab Spring with Libya. We currently are not in Syria, but there's still a possibility that somewhere along the line we may end up there. Efficiency and practicality. Practical and inventive. Every problem has a solution or a possible solution. We can't look at something and say, oh, it just can't be done. We're always looking around to find a way to come up with a solution. And we also tend to judge objects on their usefulness, and we also judge people on their ability to get things done. If you happen to be working in a group and you know that there are certain individuals who may be slackers for the most part, you may see them as not being efficient and not being practical, and so you may skip over them. You may end up doing their portion of the assignment because they're inefficient, and you have a more efficient way of doing things. Excuse me. So if we look at efficiency, we can take modern technology, looking at computers, going to today's modern computer, which basically is your own smartphone that you have. The aspect that you have a small computer that you're able to use to get information, a little bit more efficient than having to wait around to get home to a desktop or to a laptop. Progress and material comfort. Americans believe that through hard work and determination, living standards will continue to improve. If you were to go back several generations, you would see that the standard of living was lower than what it is today. The idea is that through progression, that the material comfort, the creature comforts that we have helped to improve our living standards. One time you didn't have TVs in a house. Now you have multiple TVs, multiple computers. Sizes of houses were smaller. You now have McMansions. This is progress and material comfort that we are looking at is what we value. Equality and democracy. To have human equality, there must be an equality of opportunity, and success is a reward that must be earned. And so if we look here in our culture, that we do believe that we have this opportunity for success, that everybody has this opportunity towards success, and that it should be given to every human, and the success that you earn is basically the reward. And we come back to that individualism, that hard work, that personal achievement. All can be achieved through equality and the aspect of the democracy. Freedom. Freedom of choice, such as religion, speech, and press, and protect them from government interference. We know that we can speak freely in this country. We can speak good about people. We can speak well of people, not good. We can speak well of people. We can speak ill of people, even our government leaders, and doesn't matter. We do not have to ever fear of any major repercussions, that of you being thrown into jail or possibly being killed for not, but for speaking out against the government officials. So we have these freedoms. And you can practice whatever religion you want, or you don't have to practice religion if you choose not to. It's your choice. So that wraps up the 8 basic values of the American cultures. But there are several additions, and this goes with the second objective. That there are 3 new values that we've added since the 1970s. Our changing values, the first one is self-fulfillment, and that's the commitment to the full development of one's personality, talents, and potential, which includes the aspect of having leisure time, physical fitness, and youthfulness. That we've gotten to a point where our standard of living has provided us with leisure, that we can pursue any of these other things outside of work that we would like to do to help our personality expand. Whatever talents we have, we can continue to work on those. We look at leisure time as far as having time to go out and play, we'll say, with adult toys such as power boats and motorcycles and fancy cars. The idea of physical fitness is that people are going to gyms, they're working out, they are taking the aerobics class, the Zumba, they're putting themselves in a position where they can be physically fit and feel good about themselves, as well as letting other people know that they look good. The idea of youthfulness is that we have plastic surgery that's come along. We've got a myriad of youth products that one can put on their face or on their body to take care of them, to make them look younger than what they are. Environmental protection. You have, since the 1960s, a lot of people going a little bit more green. There's been a big push these days for non-toxic stuff to be used. Instead of using nuclear energy, that we go with solar power, that we go with wind power, that we want to protect our rivers and lakes and trees and stuff like that. And lastly, the idea of education and religion. These were deemed important by students who were polled, and that it's important to get a good education so that one can have that success, that personal achievement again. There's a higher value on that. The idea of religion, that you would be grounded with some aspect of spirituality that would help to give you some moral fiber. And that takes care of Section 1, the traditional 8 basic values that we have, and then the 3 new changing values. Section 2 is titled Social Control, and this section also has 2 objectives. The first one, by the time we finish this section, you should be able to identify how the norms of society are enforced, as well as being able to describe the differences between positive and negative sanctions, and between formal and informal sanctions. Why do people follow society's norms? Good question. Can anybody answer that? All right, I'll move on. First of all, people have to accept the norms as useful, necessary, and appropriate. Once they do that, then these norms can become internalized. And basically that means the norms become part of our personality and we follow it without thinking. It's almost an automatic reflex. When someone says good morning, you basically say good morning because you've internalized that that's what's supposed to happen, even though it may not be a good morning for you. How does our society try to ensure that norms will be followed? Well, the use of sanctions is how we make sure that things such as the norms will be followed. And a sanction is a reward or punishment, so it can be something positive or negative, that's used to enforce conformity to the norms. You have positive sanctions, so that's going to be a reward for the behavior that's been displayed. And an example would be that children getting treats for good behavior, employees getting a raise for good work performance. Then we have negative sanctions, and this would be a punishment used to enforce conformity to the norms. And examples of that would be a parking ticket because you parked in the handicap zone and you, one, don't have a handicap sticker, two, you aren't handicapped. Or the idea of capital punishment because you've committed a murder and murder is against the law, you're going to be put to death. And I thought I cleared this up, but I guess not, so we're just going to run through this. Sorry about that. Informal versus informal sanctions. Formal sanctions, these are a reward or punishment which is given by a formal organization. An example of a formal organization would be the school, a place of work is a business, and your government. So, for example, the school gives out your report cards. On your report cards, you have a listing that says that you've made the honor roll or that you are academically ineligible. Business might have your picture up on the wall for Employee of the Month, and the government may decide that they're going to give you a sanction. In this case, it might be a negative sanction by sending you an additional bill for unpaid taxes. Informal sanctions. These are expressions of approval or disapproval given by an individual or group. What comes out of this is that we can have positive informal sanctions, and this would be the aspect of just a compliment. Hey, you look nice today. I like your haircut. Could be a smile. You smile at somebody, they smile back. It's just a way of acknowledging them. Could be that you have put forth a presentation of some sort. It's a good presentation, and you get a standing ovation. Those are all positive informal sanctions. Negative informal sanctions, the idea of disapproving behavior. You might get a frown from your teacher, from a friend, from a parent. It might be an aspect of someone insulting you, or you may make some sort of insulting or ridiculing comment. It might be the aspect of ostracism, where if we take, for example, in the movie Mean Girls, when Regina is wearing pink, and it's not the appropriate day for wearing pink, and the other girls say, "You can't sit with us." That would be an example of ostracism as well as a negative informal sanction. Social control occurs in two main ways. One is through self-control. A person has internalized the norm and is able to follow the norm. And the idea of sanctions. People are persuaded to obey norms. For example, the police make sure that they persuade you to follow the rules. If you don't follow the rules based upon what the police are there to arrest you or give you a ticket, if you don't follow that, you may go to the courts, and the court may tell you that if you don't stop what you're doing, you're going to end up having to pay a fine. You'll have tickets, or you could end up in jail. You have powerful individuals who also have a way of having some sort of influence. It might be a coach, it might be your boss, might be a grandparent, somebody that has a little bit more power than what you have, who is going to try to persuade you to obey the norms. And it also just might be members in your family. It might be your immediate family. It might be an older sibling. It could be a favorite uncle or an aunt or a cousin.